Early signs of a toxic relationship. In this video, I'm going to tell you the signs that your relationship is heading in a toxic direction so that you get out before you get in too deep. It's Sabrina, your personal love advisor from A New Mode, the channel where we show you how love actually works. A toxic substance is something that causes damage to you. It drains you. It depletes you. And a toxic relationship can cause irrevocable harm to your sense of self and your sense of worth. The fact is, no one is perfect. Everyone has flaws. But when do those flaws border on toxic behavior? When you meet someone and you have potential with them, you don't want to get rid of that because who knows when it's going to come around again. So you convince yourself that maybe with a little more time, a little more patience, a little more love, you can get things back on track. And this could be a really amazing relationship. But when it comes to a toxic relationship, there really is little you can do. And the more you try, the more it will just suck the life out of you until you are a shell of your former self. That's why it is so important to know what to watch out for. And I'm going to cover it all in this video, so make sure you watch until the end. Real quick, if you find this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell so you get notified when we post new videos. Make sure to sign up for the A New Mode newsletter. Eric and I share our best content, our best tips, our best personal stories. We deliver it straight into your inbox every day. Sign up at anewmode.com/subscribe. The link is down below, and follow me on Instagram at anewmode. Number one, he's a mess. Maybe he's not over his ex, maybe he's depressed, maybe he's having financial issues, maybe he's having family problems. Whatever the case, his life is out of sorts right now and he is a bit of a mess. And you have basically become his shoulder to cry on. I mean, people go through hard times in life and we can't hold that against someone else. But you have to watch out for something that can happen in these cases. If you get involved with a guy when he's in this place, so this isn't like, okay, you're in an established relationship and now he's having a hard time and you're there for him. It's more in the beginning when he's a mess, you run the risk of ending up in a codependent relationship. In a codependent relationship, one person is weak and one person is strong. And they kind of both need to play those roles, and that's how the relationship sustains itself. The weak person can't function, so he relies on the strong person. And the strong person feels really good to feel so needed and to feel so important. This guy needs her. He can't function without her. And that's the dynamic that's at play. And the strong person kind of needs the weak person to stay weak. But eventually, when that weak person does become strong, the relationship falls apart. You can't let yourself fall into the role of nursemaid or caretaker because this isn't a healthy relationship dynamic. That's not what a relationship looks like. You're not supposed to be his mommy. You're supposed to be his lover, his partner. And in codependent relationships, unfortunately, they do tend to devolve into more of like a mother-son dynamic, especially when it's the woman who's the strong and the man who's the weak. Obviously, these roles could be reversed. And in those cases, it does devolve into more of a mother-son dynamic. And there's nothing sexy about that a relationship can't survive off of that. So really watch out for how things start out and the place that he's in, and how able and willing he is to get himself back to a strong place on his own, not relying on you to do it for him. Number two, love bombing. He comes on insanely strong and essentially bombs you with love. Now this is a tricky one because it feels good. It feels so good. He looks at you like you are the most magnificent creature that ever walked the face of the earth, and who doesn't want that? But this is a huge red flag. This is something that manipulative people do to get you to be reliant on them because you want more of that feeling. And when he takes it away, you end up in this cycle of trying to prove yourself to him. And your whole self-esteem is just wrapped up in how he sees you. You want him to see you as that magnificent creature again. Also, bombing you with love like that is just a great way to reel someone in, especially someone who is in a fragile place emotionally. If someone is in a strong place emotionally, they'll usually see this for what it is. This is why, I've definitely fallen into the love bombing trap before and been lured into it by guys. But when you're out of it, like when I would see it happening to friends of mine, I could see exactly what was going on. And it's hard for you to see it once you're in it. And those relationships always imploded. Like they never went well. When a guy just starts off super strong, love bombing, saying I love you like after 2 weeks of dating or 1 week of dating or 1 hour of dating, who even knows? That is always a red flag. And I know we don't want to think that it's a red flag because we want to believe in love at first sight and meant to be and things happen for a reason and yeah, we just clicked. But it rarely comes from a healthy place when someone is just coming on that strong right away before they've even really gotten the chance to know you. That reeks of ulterior motive or an agenda or an unhealthy person, a person who is just in a bad place. Maybe his ex just dumped him. He's going through a horrible breakup and he has this hole within himself. And he needs to feed his ego. And he does that by seeing you and giving you all this love just because he wants you to reflect it back to him. So it's really a self-serving thing. Either way, watch out for the love bombing. It is never a good thing. Number 3, he's controlling. He needs to know where you're going, who you'll be with, how long you'll be out, what time you'll be home. And if you don't text him back in a timely fashion, he basically goes ballistic. He might even snoop. He might look through your things. He might look through your email. He might look through your phone. He might look through your texts. He is insanely jealous. He freaks out if a guy looks at you, if a guy comments on your pictures on Instagram. And look, a little bit of jealousy can be flattering. I mean, we want the guy we're with to be a little afraid of losing us. But only a really insecure woman will take jealousy to that extreme as a compliment and be flattered by it. That is a huge red flag. A guy who is controlling typically just feels out of control in his own life, which signals some emotional issues that he needs to deal with. And he gains his sense of power by controlling those around him. And you don't need a guy who's going to be controlling you. I mean, you had parents growing up. You don't need to be in a relationship where you have another parent. I don't think I need to spell out why this is a bad idea. It is not flattering. It is not healthy. Beware of the controlling guys. Number 4, he isolates you from other people. He might make comments like, all your friends are just so jealous of you. I don't know why you hang out with those girls. Or, your family is so intense. No wonder you're such an anxious person. You really shouldn't hang around them too much. It's not good for you. And you're like, oh, well, this sounds well-intentioned. It sounds like he has my best interests at heart. But does he? Now are you all of a sudden ditching your friends, not spending time with your family, and pouring more and more of yourself into him and into the relationship to the point where you don't have a life outside the relationship? If that's what's going on, that is a huge red flag. If a guy really cares about you, he'll want to help you work on your relationship with your family, with your friends. He won't completely isolate you from everyone and want you completely to himself. So watch out. Watch the things he says about the people in your life. Number 5, wild mood swings. One minute he's happy and fine, the next he's raging and out of control. It is extremely difficult to be in a relationship with someone like this because you don't know which way the tide's gonna go. You don't know if you make the wrong comment, say the wrong thing, look in the wrong direction, he's just gonna completely lose his mind. You just feel like you're walking on eggshells. You're afraid of setting him off. These mood swings are also a signal of anger issues, and there is no bigger red flag than a guy with anger issues. A good way to see this early on is to watch how he treats other people. Someone who is nice to you but not nice to the waiter is not a nice person. How does he treat the waiter? How does he treat his family? How does he treat his siblings? Watch the way he talks to them. If he's dismissive, if he's condescending, if he's rude, if he yells at them, that is how he's gonna talk to you someday. Maybe right now he's sweet and romantic because it's the beginning and he's just trying to win you over, but the way he treats those people, that's what's coming. That's your future, so pay attention. Number 6, nothing is ever his fault. He can't ever truly accept responsibility. Let's say you guys have a fight, he got super angry at you and you call him out on it. He might apologize, but he says, well, I wouldn't have gotten so angry if you weren't being so irrational and annoying. He turns everything around on you. He can't just stop at, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. It's, I'm sorry I did that, but blah, blah, blah. When someone does that, they're basically saying, well, you deserve what you got. I'm not really sorry, you deserved it. Someone who can't take responsibility is lacking in empathy, and it is impossible to be in a relationship with someone who has no empathy. This is just setting yourself up to be taken for granted, manipulated, and treated horribly. It basically sets the stage to be in an emotionally abusive relationship, and you really need to watch out for a guy who takes zero responsibility, can't factor your feelings into the equation. This is not someone you want to be involved with. Number 7, he puts you down. This is one of the biggest indicators of a toxic relationship, and it seems like it would be black and white, like, okay, yeah, he insults you. Like, we all can recognize an insult. But often in toxic relationships, he'll insult you in a way that's like cloaked in a compliment. So it's like a backhanded compliment, or he negs you. So it's not really flat out criticism. It's a criticism cloaked in a compliment. And it just kind of leaves you confused. You don't know if he's complimenting you or if he's insulting you. And what it does is it makes you feel crazy. It makes you doubt yourself. It makes you think that maybe what he's saying is valid. Maybe you are the problem. Maybe all these things are your fault. Maybe you are the one who's wrong here. You just can't really tell. The further you get into a toxic relationship, the more you're not gonna feel like yourself, the more you're gonna doubt yourself and question yourself. So these insults are really gonna slide in there and really become wired in. That's gonna become internalized, and that's gonna be part of your belief system about yourself. This is why you have to be so careful to avoid getting into toxic relationships, because it can take years and a lot of therapy to undo this damage. Relationships are a chance for enormous personal growth. And because of that, sometimes our less than stellar qualities are gonna come to the surface. And when it's a healthy relationship, Your partner will accept those less than stellar traits, and you probably will do the same and will be accepting of them, even though they will encourage you to be better and to change. They won't shame you and make you feel embarrassed or make you feel like you're bad or you're unworthy or unlovable because of these qualities. There is a huge difference between a partner who can point out your flaws in a loving way and one who does it from a place of contempt and disgust. In a toxic relationship, your partner will have very little tolerance for your negative qualities and will completely make you feel ashamed for even having them. And shame is just a big component of toxic relationships in general. If that feeling is starting to dominate the relationship, if you are just constantly feeling this sense of shame, that is a really big sign that your relationship is toxic or heading in a toxic direction. So be honest with yourself and check in with yourself on how you're feeling. Number 8, you fight dirty. All couples fight. I mean, there's no such thing as a couple that never gets into an argument. The difference is healthy couples fight to reach a resolution, whereas toxic couples fight to tear each other down. When healthy couples fight, it's them against the problem. It's not them against each other. In a toxic relationship, an argument is really a chance to just jab each other between the ribs and hit below the belt. And when this happens, it's because the resentment has built up to a boiling point and your arguments are dirty. They're ugly. You are like two enemies who hate each other, not two people who love each other and are trying to make this work. Essentially, toxic couples fight to win. It's not a means to reach a resolution, it's a means to tear the other person down. Number 9, you can't be yourself. One sign that you're in a healthy, loving relationship is this feeling that you can just be. You don't have to put on any pretenses. You don't have to act in some way that isn't who you are. You can just be. And it's the greatest feeling in the world. In a toxic relationship, you can't just be. You are scared to speak your mind. You're scared of being shamed for it, of being blamed, of being attacked, of getting into a fight. You feel like you have to walk on eggshells. You feel like your real self just isn't good enough. Probably because he makes you feel like you're not good enough consistently, either in overt ways or in covert, sneaky ways. Over time, you might not even recognize the person that this relationship is turning you into. What happened to that cool, fun, confident girl you used to be? She's gone. She is a complete, insecure, needy, anxious mess. And that's what a toxic relationship will do to you over time. Number 10, he won't work on it. In a toxic relationship, you feel like the problem. You feel like this is all your fault. That's why women stay. They feel like this is my fault, so I'm the one that needs to fix it. And he validates that. He validates that by saying, yeah, you are the problem. Any problems in the relationship is because you're too sensitive, you're too needy, you're too dramatic, you're asking for too much of him. If you have a problem in the relationship, it's your problem. It's not his problem to fix. The most important quality to look for in a partner is someone who is willing to work on it. Look, even a toxic relationship can be repaired as long as the other person wants to work on it. As long as they recognize, yeah, this relationship isn't good, this isn't healthy, we need to fix this. And he's on board to fix it. If that's the case, then you stand a chance. But if he thinks that everything's fine, this is all your problem, there is no chance and you need to run fast. It's difficult because a guy with toxic qualities also has a lot of good qualities. He's not a monster. I mean, it's not black and white. It's not all good and bad. He sometimes can be really great and really sweet. And maybe you guys do connect and you do understand each other and he does really see you. But you cannot ignore all the bad, all the signs that I've presented to you on this list, because they are all telltale, strong indicators that your relationship is turning toxic. And this causes so much damage. The more you stay in it, the longer you stay in it, the more damage it will cause to you. You think that because he has all these great traits, like if you only stick it out a little longer, tough it out, give him more love, give him more support, then he'll change. And I'm not saying people can't change. They can, it's possible to an extent. I mean, no one can completely change, but he has to want to. You are not gonna force that change. If he doesn't want to, there is nothing you can do here and there's nothing else to talk about. I really hope this video was helpful. If so, please give it a like. Please leave a comment letting me know about your experiences with toxic relationships, getting out of a toxic relationship, how you moved on afterwards, because I know how difficult that can be. Share your thoughts. If you have any questions, I try to answer them all, and it really creates such a great sense of community when we all support each other. For more relationship advice, check out anewmode.com, subscribe to our newsletter, anewmode.com/subscribe, follow me on Instagram @anewmode, and I will see you guys in the next video.